Mr. Adams, all finished.
Thank you very much, everyone. 8 o'clock start tomorrow, please. Michael, the pedal on that diatherm is gone again.
I think it's just a loose connection.
Will someone pick up those drapes, please? Something more original.
I'll try.
Giles, I want a word with you.
Uh-oh.
Will someone please pick up these drapes?
What on earth do you think you were doing in there? You're supposed to assist me. You flapped about like some hypertensive pasta chef.
Sorry. I was only doing it the way Mr. Copeland showed me.
Copeland? Ah, yes, Mr. Copeland.
So I thought 2 weeks locum in Sweden, catch a flight to Barbados. Oh, God, batten down the hatches.
Mr. Copeland.
Yes, can it wait? I am rather busy just now.
No, you're not. You're talking to Mr. Hope Wynne. I don't call that busy. I call that fruitless.
Mrs. Keeney,
No, I must say, what a pleasure it is to see you upright. One always gets so nervous you may be flambéed someday by an unguarded electrical spark.
You wanted to speak to me?
Yes, I will not have you filling my houseman's head with sloppy surgery. God knows there's limited space as it is.
Sloppy?
I said sloppy, and sloppy I meant. If I had said excellent, I would now be eating a bar of soap. I am permanently disabusing my juniors of this flashy nonsense.
Neil Copeland is one of the most experienced surgeons in the country.
Is he? Then I suggest he returns to the country and leaves the big stuff to us town folk. I know people think I'm a stickler for the book.
There is such a thing as alternative methods.
Bit of cross-pollination never hurt.
One does not cross a lily of the valley with a gorse bush. As for alternative methods, try this for fringe surgery. If it happens again, I shall nail your epiglottis to the ceiling. Thank you and good night. Giles!
Hey, you've got to do something about that damn woman.
Me?
Well, you work with her, remonstrate or something.
Yes, I work with her, and you can take it from me, you can't get a remonstration in sideways.
If she was my wife, I'd give her a good talking to. That's the way to handle that sort of thing.
That's quite right, George. I noticed you girding your loins for the verbal onslaught.
Well, I expected just women's problems, don't you think?
Are those funny thing, women's problems? Women get them, but only men seem to suffer. Still, do what you can. If you need any advice, you know where to find George.
Absolutely. They've been open half an hour.
Morning.
What's all this?
Well, both work in the same place. Thought I'd give you a lift.
That?
What's wrong with it?
Oh, nothing. I'm sure Rommel loved it dearly. I do have my own car, Jonathan.
I thought you'd be pleased. Anyway, call that a car?
Well, it may not be a Rolls-Royce, but at least it doesn't look like something they knocked up on Blue Peter. They've removed corned beef from more aesthetically pleasing objects.
I'll take that as a no thank you then, shall I?
Oh, I'm sorry, Jonathan. I'm just not feeling very bright and breezy this morning. Look, why don't I give you a lift instead?
In that? No thank you. Hello?
Jonathan, if you say one word...
Something wrong?
No, nothing. And if there was, I'm perfectly capable of mending it, thank you.
Funny, isn't it? Here's me, a man who doesn't know a thing about cars, and there's you, a woman. Practically Audie Murphy with a grease gun.
Funny, isn't it?
Yeah. I'll see you later then.
Don't even think of it. Morning.
Morning.
Appendix, 2 hernias and a cyst. Oh, God, why don't people have interesting ailments anymore?
Sheila, can I have a word?
Come in, sit down. Coffee?
Oh, no, I don't think so. That lift, I'm afraid. Any coffee I take tends to be on a short-term loan.
Yes. What can I do for you?
Well, 2 things. Firstly, about the lecture on Friday.
What lecture?
Oh, don't tell me you've forgotten. The medical students. You're giving a talk on operating theatre procedure.
No, I'm sorry, Joyce. I'm going to Paris to see my son.
Daniel, What's he doing in Paris?
He's 16 years old, Joyce. You tell me what he's doing. Some college thing, apparently. They come over here for 6 months, then they take him back and finish him off completely.
Can't you go a bit later? You did promise me ages ago.
Look, it's a perfectly simple lecture. Patient handling, sterile practice.
All right, I'll ask around. But if I can't find anyone, you're stuck with it.
Joyce, you are an angel, really. Oh, what was the second thing?
I gather you called Mr. Ravenscroft a geriatric windbag. That's going to help enormously, isn't it? Did you have to?
No, there was a choice between windbag and gut bucket. But I thought the latter seemed unladylike.
Sheila.
Well, I don't see what it's got to do with you. It was a private argument between two surgeons of equal rank.
Private argument from opposite sides of the staff dining hall.
That was unavoidable. You can't get a word in edgeways unless he's got a mouthful of croutons. Do you mean to tell me he came running to the deputy unit manager?
No, of course not. You made front page of the student rag.
Really? Oh, let me look.
Well, it's hardly a review of Fidelio.
Mrs. Sabatini bites your legs. No, it's not, is it?
Sheila, are you waging some personal war or something?
I don't know what you mean.
Well, it's not the first time, is it? You've been biting heads off for over a month now. Only male heads, granted.
I prefer soft centres.
It's all right for you. I'm the one that gets caught in the crossfire. What am I going to do with you?
Oh, let me go to Paris on Friday. All right?
I'll see what I can do. But I'm not promising.
Now, look, will you please stop telling me to hold on? I've held on, thank you, and it was not a rewarding experience. If you tell me to hold on once more, I shall come round there and practice on your throat. Now, will you hold on, please?
Sorry, I didn't mean to...
No, it's nothing important.
So you fixed the car, then?
You seem surprised.
Not at all. No, every confidence.
Good. It may surprise you, Dr. Haslam, but women have come a long way. Some of them even by internal combustion engine. We're not all just a dab hand at getting vinegar stains out of doilies, you know.
I'm impressed.
Good.
What was wrong with it?
What?
The car. What seemed to be the trouble?
Well, it was... I thought you didn't know anything about cars.
Not a sausage. Still, mustn't be too proud to learn.
Well, as it turned out, it was a mucky offside flange. Now, if you'd excuse me... I've said it once, Jonathan. Now, if you'll excuse me, this is an extremely important call.
Yes, of course.
Thank you. I shall be along as soon as the patient arrives.
By the way, I think someone's stolen it.
I beg your pardon?
Your car. Wasn't in the car park when I arrived.
Well, of course it wasn't. I'm having it washed. It's outside the mortuary. Yours is inside, I assume.
Someone here washes cars. Who?
Jonathan, you are rapidly getting on my nerves. Yes, someone here washes cars, but I can't tell you who without getting him into trouble.
I won't tell anybody.
No, but you may ask him to wash yours. He's got a squeegee, not a blowtorch. Now, if you don't mind...
Patients arrived.
Oh, good. At least he gets to sleep through all this.
Are you still there? Good. Now, listen. The car is dumped in an alleyway by the side of the Odeon. How do I know what's wrong with it? It doesn't go. That's what's wrong with it. Sister, just the person I'm looking for. Now, listen, about that scrub nurse you gave me yesterday, I have nothing against Liverpudlians, hand on heart, but if I must work with them, I insist on having a sterile interpreter present. Is that clear?
Good morning, Mrs. Sabatini.
What? Oh, yes, I do beg your pardon.
You on your own this morning?
No, Giles Peake is supposed to be here.
Mrs. Sabatini, I'm dreadfully sorry.
Ah, the late Giles Peake.
Yes, I am sorry. I did try to phone. My car broke down.
And you want to be a surgeon?
I'm sorry?
How on earth do you expect to mend patients if you can't even mend a simple car? Now put your mask on.
Thank you. It's a bit like politics surgery, isn't it?
I wouldn't know, is it?
Well, we all stand in there yelling at each other, and then we come out here and pretend it's ancient history.
Yes. Well, we're all friends, basically. One has professional disagreements, of course, but that's all they are. One doesn't dwell on them.
No. It's quite civilised, really.
Yes, it is. yells?
What?
You said we all yell. I don't yell. I wouldn't dream of it.
No more than anyone else.
No, I'm sorry, Jonathan. I do not yell. I have never yelled in my life.
Does it matter? It's only a word. Are we going to fall out over one word?
Of course not. Incidentally, you didn't relax that first hernia.
Now, just a minute.
I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying you didn't.
Of course I did.
Rubbish. It was like operating on a wardrobe.
That patient was completely relaxed. If it hadn't have been for the green drapes, he'd have been wearing a smoking jacket.
I don't want to argue about this. As far as I'm concerned, it's ancient history.
Is this going to go on all day?
I don't yell. Sabatini?
Ah, Sheila, about that lecture on Friday. I've asked around.
Yes, what do they say?
Well, they like the idea in principle, but you'll have to go further than France.
What?
Mr. Olivelle suggested Mexico, and Mr. Hopewin won't touch it unless you're booked on a space shuttle.
Do you mean to say not one single person volunteered?
Sheila, you've insulted every male in this hospital. They won't touch it with a barge pole.
Well, they can't all be busy. Delegate someone.
There's no need to get worked up. I've checked the roster and I think I've got the answer.
Oh?
Well, it's not specifically surgery, so it doesn't have to be a surgeon, does it?
No, not really.
Good. Well, apparently Dr. Haslam's free all day Friday, so there you are. Sheila?
That might be difficult, Joyce.
Well, what's so difficult? You want to go away, don't you? Haslam's a good chap.
Yes, I know he is. I just think it might be difficult.
Well, I can't sit here arguing with you. I've done my bit, that's it, all right?
Joyce. Joyce!
Something wrong?
No, no. Jonathan, would you like to take me out to lunch?
It isn't locked.
Sure.
You have to kick it.
Pardon?
The bottom of the stitch, you have to kick it.
Oh, how exciting.
Where are we going?
Just someplace I know. Shouldn't be too crowded.
Far?
No, not too far. Isn't that your car?
Remarkably similar, yes.
It looks like yours.
Mass production. One simply despairs of getting anything original these days.
Suppose you're right. They made thousands of these a few years ago.
Really? Why?
Thank you. This really is charming. Holy World pub, that person's lunch. How on earth did you find it?
Hope Wynne mentioned it.
You are clever.
What's so clever about someone else telling me?
You were there to hear it.
Sheila, can I ask you something?
Yes, of course.
Why are you being so nice to me all of a sudden?
Well, I think one should be nice to people. Heavens, in our job, one sees just how short life can be.
You're awful to everyone else. You were awful to me half an hour ago.
Yes. Well, I'm sorry. I'm just not too hot on the male sex just now. It's very difficult being a woman in a man's profession.
Surgery is not a man's profession, it's anyone's.
Do you think people take me seriously?
Good God, they wouldn't dare do anything else. That's the way you like it, isn't it?
Yes. First sign of condescension, I stick the boot in and whirl it about. It's the only way, believe me. This really is delicious, Jonathan. Try some.
Well, it's just cheese and bread.
The simple things, Jonathan. That's what I like about you. Cheese, bread, manual cars. You're so close to nature.
Actually, I'm not very fond of cheese. Do you want mine?
No. Really, more than enough.
Odd, isn't it?
Odd?
You and me. Do you realise we've been working together for over a year and this is the first time we've had lunch together?
Yes, it is. Not the last, I hope.
If I think about it, I know next to nothing about you. Husband's Italian, isn't he?
Of Italian extraction. What's so funny?
Well, I was just thinking. You spend all day doing extractions and then you go home to another one.
As a matter of fact, I don't. We split up nearly 4 weeks ago. Oh, for God's sake, Jonathan, never take up dentistry. You could spike a nerve in a glass of Steradent.
I'm sorry, I didn't know. I take it wasn't amicable.
Oh, perfectly. Jimmy Savile fixed it for us. We drank champagne, jumped backwards over a broomstick, and that was that. I'd never been so close to Nirvana.
Look, do you want to go?
Go? No, why?
Well, it doesn't seem to be working out, does it?
Oh, of course it is. Look, have some more cheese. Gosh, the bread looks gorgeous.
You know, I still can't work out why we're here. I mean, it's all very pleasant, but why does it feel like Christmas Day in the trenches?
Jonathan, we're just two professional people having lunch together. Thousands do it every day.
We don't.
Well, we should. I really think we should.
What, every day?
No, not every day, naturally.
Every 12 months, then. Keep it regular.
You know, you're quite witty sometimes. Besides, I want to know all about you.
Like what?
Everything. I want to know absolutely everything. Why you never married, for example. Why haven't you married?
Women, I suppose.
What about them?
Never understood them. Even less now. You open a door, you're a chauvinist pig. You leave it closed, you're an ill-mannered lout. That's not equality, it's practically fascism.
Couldn't agree with you more. See, the way I see it, men have so much to offer. It's ludicrous to think that we could ever rise above them. Women are, and always have been, weak. Heaven help any woman who can't see that.
Listen, do you mind if I have a brandy or something?
Take you, for example. I mean, you're strong, forthright. There are so many things that you can do that I can't. The list simply goes on and on.
Like what?
Well, take this one example. I have this lecture on Friday. Now, call me stupid. Call me a silly, illogical female. I am, I know. But the thought of facing those students simply fills me with utter dread.
Does it?
Yes, I quake at the knees. By the end of the week, I shall look like an expanded croquet hoop. I know it. But you, a man, of course, you have natural authority. You could do it easily as falling off a log. When I think of how easily a man could do it, well, it brings it home to me, frankly. I mean, I put on this bold front, but underneath it, I'm just another weak, dependent female.
Actually, I quite like giving lectures.
Of course you do. Natural authority, that's what I've been saying.
Well, the answer's simple, surely. Why don't I do it for you?
Oh, no, I didn't mean that.
Why not?
No, I couldn't. Besides, I'm sure you're busy all day Friday.
No, as a matter of fact, I'm not doing anything.
I don't believe it.
Nothing. I'm absolutely free all day.
Oh, Jonathan, do you believe in fate?
Fate?
There must be some kind of cosmic rationale for all this. I mean, there was I, a positive maiden in distress, and only a hanky throw from my Lancelot of the Lake. Quite frankly, I wasn't expecting this for a moment.
Well, quite frankly, neither was I.
So,
I thought you'd just tell me you wanted to go to France.
are you telling me that I've spouted all this bilge for the last half hour, and you knew all the time?
Well, more or less, yes. What does it matter? I said I'll do it.
Jonathan, don't you ever ask me out to lunch again.
I didn't.
One lump of cheddar and a 4-day-old loaf in a barely converted cowshed. What do you do for a snack? 2 cactus or something? To call for a taxi. If you think I am sitting in that semi-oxidized heap out there for another minute, then you are very much mistaken. Thank you and good afternoon, Dr. Haslam.
Thank you.
Sheila?
Sheila, will you wait a minute?
How on earth do you work these things?
You have to be Japanese. Now, will you please wait?
Phone call, not Lord Polaris.
I said, will you wait a minute?
All right. Apparently I'm waiting. What is it?
Why do you think I called for you this morning?
I don't know. Why?
Because I like you. I wanted to give you a lift because I like you. Same reason as I offered to do your lecture on Friday. Good God, woman, you strut about like some transvestite Mussolini. Look, I know it can't be easy. Marriage bust up on top of a full-time job, but that's it, and you're stuck with it. You might at least give people a chance to help. And if all this rushing down my throat is meant to convince me you're as good as a man, well, I thought you were better than most in the first place. And don't use a 50p, they don't give change.
Is that it then? Is that all you've got to say?
Yes, it is. My bottle went.
Fine. Well, now it's my turn.
What was that for?
I'm sure I could fix this. Oh, do smile, Jonathan. You look like a parched rubber plant.
Tell me a joke.
Joke?
Yeah, go on. Cheer me up. Tell me a joke.
All right, then I will. That was my car they were hauling up the high street.
I've heard it.
You knew all the time?
Oh, don't start that again, for God's sake. What I want to know is how you got to work before me.
There is such a thing as public transport.
Yes, there is, and they've been on strike since Thursday.
Well, maybe I called a taxi.
Did you?
No, I called an ambulance.
Ambulance?
I don't see what's so funny about that. It was an emergency. People depend on me. I can't stand about polishing spark plugs. Jonathan, would you kindly get this wreck on the road?
Do you know something?
What?
I'm half hungry.
You're hungry.
What would you say to a kebab?
Hello, Kebab. How are you?